Islam Moors, 1 minute in, had some, little stuff to set up before we got going today. But I want to say Islam to the family, peace, love, and hotep. We're here once again, Canaanland Moors Tuesday class, 7 p.m. every Tuesday, live at the Canaanland Moors Ustream. MHT Online, Kananta. Welcome to all. We want to once again put a gigantic, colossal, megalithic, monumental shout out to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali came in these days and times to teach us the truth about our nationality and our birthrights. Many people are taking the position of trying to deny our people their nationality and their birthrights. And, as unfortunate as that is, as unfortunate as that is, we will continue on. We'll continue doing what it is that we do, which is carrying on the legacy of this great man that brought us back our nationality and our birthrights. So we applaud and we give supreme honors to him. And we give honors to the forerunner of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, whose duty it was to get the people on a national mindset. Get the people's mentality in a place where even though they were part of an association called Negro, even though he used the term black, even though he said African and all this type of stuff, right? He was the preparer. He was getting the people's mindset in the right place so that when Noble Drew Ali came, they could just jump on board, proclaim their nationality, and then we continue with what we were doing, Black Styliner, African Legion, the unification of the organizations, and then keep in mind everybody who was so-called liberating our people from 1930 forward. They were either part of the sellout crew with W.E. Du Bois and those crew, right? The Boule, right? Or they were in the UNIA or Moorish Science Temple. That's what was going on during those times, right? So we want to give honors to the individuals who, after Noble Drew Ali, stuck to the program, kept the dream alive and inspired us to be in the position where we're at today, where we know about our fez. We don't think that, this is the Masonic stuff or whatever like that. We know about our Holy Quran. We know that that's not some Aquarian gospel and all this other stuff people like to claim. We know about our traditional customs of sashes and, long shirts with no collars, right? We know about our pantaloons, and we know about our iron sheet curly toe shoes and all this stuff that happens to be our culture, right? The inspiration. Moors are so influential. Moors are so influential that there's people out there who, when they engage Moors, they want to make sure that Moors have a platform to put on the record what they know. So what we're going to start with today, one of the Moors who was on our Hebrew Israelite Part 2 class, Brother Negus L sent me a link to the Zo What Show, right? On the topic of the black male super predator, a deeper look into ADHD and the attack on young black boys, right? And we just want to give the Moor his props for stepping up and putting certain things on the record for the people out there who have children and are being attacked by these so-called school systems that are trying to classify their children as attention deficit hyperactive disorder and all these other stupid stuff that they made up in order to basically, criminalize our children. So we're just going to listen to that as a few minutes, but, just take this in for a little bit, and then we'll get right back.
Listen, we got a caller on the line. This is a brother I met up with in Sacramento. This brother is a teacher, and his brother is the principal of a charter school, if I'm getting this correct. I was trying to catch up with your brother. I wanted your brother on too, man. Can you speak to some of the issues that we're trying to cover right now? ADHD, the super predator, how the school labels, medicates, all that. Talk to us about this, man.
Hello.
What's up,
How
brother?
you doing?
Good to hear from you again.
Good, man. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Just real quick, we know that we cannot teach students that we do not love and respect and they do not understand. And these teachers are far, far from the reality of these students. There's a current school district in which I work at where they were slapped with the Office of Civil Rights for not allowing actual, quote-unquote, African-American students into higher education. And we see that as well as the teachers do not represent the public or the demographics of these students. As an educator and as an administrator, I've noticed it is quite frequently that teachers recommend these students into special education and not looking at the other six intelligences. If the student, like it was said earlier, has a linguistic learning disability or issues with linguistic or mathematical situations, they don't look at the spatial learners or the kinesthetic, and they only look for one style. And what I have seen is this tends to be a control issue with teachers doing their job because they're working a 9 to 5, and they're not all the time looking forward to help all our children, and so it becomes a control issue. And what I really see is emasculating our young boys to think and to challenge the questions. Many teachers do not feel it is their responsibility to answer the question, why do I have to learn this? What is this important to me for? Which I think makes a big difference. And to answer the question, the father of ADHD, Leon Eisenberg, was born in 1922, and at the age of 87, 7 months before he died, in the interview,
said it wasn't real.
The ADHD is a prime example of a fictitious disease. We say we have heart diseases, but yet there's many symptoms that could lead up to the heart diseases. And so we have like Lamar Johnson very eloquently, articulately broke that down as far as, how to get them out. But I want parents, I know I don't want to take up much time, but I want parents to walk away from this. When you get a child into special education or an IEP, what tends to happen is their grades are modified and their transcripts go forward, and they are not qualified for higher schools and so forth because it shows that they had a modified grade, and those modified grades do not allow them to get normal candidacy into a college. So I just wanted to drop some of those things because these classes with ADHD kids, if you go to the classes on any campus, everybody knows who these kids are. It's the ones where kids are flying in and out of the classroom, running around yelling. And back to what the doctor said, teaching needs to be more stimulating. Well, I'm a brother, I be teaching, and I feel like I'm BET. If I'm not BET performing 24/7 for entertaining purposes, students are not engaged. They don't want to be engaged. And I think it has to do with the overall culture, as well as there's some smaller things with that home. A good book was Brain Wars that talks about the quiet space where our kids need some time to meditate and to grow their great brain matter. And they made a connection with the dysfunctional home and not allowing people to have their brains healed formally. And as well as Juwanza Kunjufu wrote some books on this. Keep the black boys out of special education as black students, middle-class teachers. And one of the things he mentioned, like Veronica mentioned earlier, was how to cure your son or your children. One of them, why don't we have them go to bed at a decent hour, as well as their diet? So the diets are very huge in ADHD, and I do think that there are some cases where people do have some extreme abnormalities. However, I do see it labeling our students, and then these students buy into these labels. They don't have the efficiency and the wherewithal to do this. They think they have a label on them, and they just go ahead and pass on by while sucking on Jolly Ranchers, sporting Jordans, but not doing any homework or doing anything that they need to be done, and which is academically shown on their report cards that is marked as a modified grade. So, yes, I just want to say, yes, I do see that, and please read Juwanza Kunjufu's books, because he also hits upon this about 2005, 2010. He wrote some of these books.
Perfect. Hey, brother.
This is Nahesu from Sacramento.
Man, tell him your name again and tell him what it means. This is one of the good brothers, man. As soon as I saw this brother, he came up to me and said, man, the work y'all doing is real. We out here in these streets, we support what y'all doing. Please say your name again, brother, and tell him what it means.
Oh, yes, my brother. My name is Nahesu Nog Negus L. I am an indigenous American, quote-unquote, Moor, not Negro, colored, or black. And the Nahesu has to do with the first gods out of the book of Ma'at as Ra's children. And then the Nog has to do with the serpent of being wise and wisdom, which you see on the Pharaoh's headdresses. And like Jesus said, be wise as a serpent. Whether the snake, and it goes in the Garden of Eden, snake actually talked to the woman and said, you ain't going to die. He actually was right. And then Negus, we also know as being a king. So my appellation, and El is a force of God, so my appellation has to do with the wise kings who will once again rule or are the rulers of this earth. And hopefully, again, we'll be put in our proper place as great contributors to humanity and society. Peace, love.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
All right. So there it is for all the parents out there. Make sure you don't let these people classify your children. Make sure you take that was a teacher talking who's a Moor. Not just some guy out there, right, that says, doctor on his name but can't show you no doctorate. It's a Moor. That's a teacher at a charter school letting you know what's up with regard to ADHD and how you could, deal with the matters regarding your children, because they know that these children that are coming up right now are the indigo children. That's why they're jumping off the walls and stuff like that. It's not them. It's the boring ass curriculum. Right? It's not them. Because we were on the cusp of that when we were in high school. I'm 40. And I remember being in high school asking teacher, why the hell are we learning this? And teacher straight saying, you're going to learn this just because you have to. Ain't no reason as to why I have to sit here. Right? And then we'll skip class and go do whatever it is that we'll do. Or we'll be in the back with spitballs and stuff like that. All right? So they're way past that stage where, they don't even, and trust me, I work in a school, I know. These youths are on some different planes right now. Right? And these teachers are having problems with these children right now. And the only ones that they can do something with are the so-called international children who their duty is to come here and learn so they can steal the jobs that our children are supposed to be getting. Right? But our children are supposed to be working for no jobs for somebody. They're supposed to be working for themselves. That's why they're supposed to be in some apprenticeship. They're supposed to be learning some trade or something like that. They're not supposed to be in these, they're supposed to be homeschooled. They're not supposed to be in these brainwash camps, because the brainwash camp is no different than the prison system, and its job is to stifle and suffocate their innate God abilities. It's the only purpose for Asiatics. And the only way that you can protect these children when they go into those brainwash camps is to make sure they have a nationality, which is their shield to protect them from any type of witchcraft that any of these people try to put on them. Just ask Moors who go to court with a nationality, that are honorable, that know that it's death before dishonoring Noble Drew Ali and what he brought. It's put me in the hole. You guys not giving me no shot. Just put me in the hole right now, because I ain't taking no shot from you guys for you guys to try to pull your little stuff on me. Right? It's not going down like that. But on a high note, new moon coming. So got a message for all the Moors from our good sister Selah Libe, another teacher, right? Another teacher who, is a Moor in the school system, right? Letting you know. They're not claiming that they got degree from Temple and then, stuff spelled wrong on their papers. These are actual real people who actually been to school prior to coming into this information, and then after they get into information, they read Noble Drew Ali told them, get a good European education and I could use you. And right now they're being used as Moors by the Prophet from the soul plane because they went to school and learned something from the European who, ignorant people call white man. And this, he come from some cave and all that. Yeah, that was back then. He knows more science now. He might have came from a cave, but you don't know caveman now. He knows more science. And they got little secret clubs and stuff like that underground that you don't know about, where they have their Nefertiti, terracotta, whatever, 50,000. They got their $600 Moorish pipe that they smoke their tobacco in and all that. They got their Ashanti stool, 80 grand, that nobody can sit on and all this type of stuff in their possession. So this is from Sister Selah Bey. If you want to contact her, just punch her up in Google. Her website will come up. Selah Bey, SELAHLIBEY. You could also go on Brother Bukhari, Battle Bay's YouTube page, and he did a Moors and Perception interview with Sister Selah Bey. That was one of these ones. Actually, two of these ones. We give him the 666 times 2 for that one. They went in. So from Sister Selah Bey, the new moon represents a good time to start new ideas and set new goals, as well as new projects. It will be in Pisces, which represents the ethereal and dream world. This is the time for enhanced dreams. Eat light tonight. Drink a relaxing herbal tea. And set your intentions for the next 30 days. This is a time to strive toward releasing your reliance on ego. A mystical time it is indeed. With the solar eclipse, the mysteries and the hidden occult will come to light. Ritual. Take a spiritual bath if possible. It is always good to do during a full and new moons. Then listen to the most calming and soothing music possible. Get into a state where your higher self is guiding your thoughts so that you write down the intentions of your higher self and not desires to gratify your lower self. Once again, just put that on again. Right? Put that on again. Listen to the most calming and soothing music possible. You go on YouTube and you can Google meditation music, and they got stuff on there calming and soothing forever. 10-hour stuff, 8-hour stuff, 24-hour stuff. Like, you're going to find something. Get into a state where your higher self, right? Remember, this is the prophet. It's not Selah Bay right now. This is the prophet talking through her to Moors right now. Get into a state where your higher self is guiding your thoughts so that you write down the intentions of your higher self and not desires to gratify your lower self. After writing down what you seek to grow or increase in your life or start, like a new project, burn a white, orange, and green candle. But if only one, white. Roll the paper up towards you and set it on fire. Let the fire burn towards you. Let it burn with sage, and you can hold a blue quartz or amethyst stone, or whatever stone represents what you seek to strengthen. I held a rose quartz for love. Once again, the prophet, first principle, right? Humanitarian, not doing some selfishness with it, right? Not doing some selfishness with it. Holding a rose quartz for love, not for herself, for her mate or whatever like that, for humanity. Because Moors have the power to heal humanity. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. That's why you were, in that position today to hold that door for that lady, or tell that individual good morning, and then they told you, oh my gosh, that was somebody actually said, or you put that change in that bum's cup and he was extremely grateful, or whatever it is that you did today for humanity, that was your purpose. So if you need more info, hit up Sister Selah Bay, look her up on YouTube, Google her stuff will come up, and make sure you go listen to the interview with her and brother Battle Bay, where they went in on some things that Moors need to take in, right? There was a few questions that we got, so we're gonna hit up some of those. And when it comes to name correction, adding El, Be, Al, De, Ali, and Al, does this for fact make contracts null and void associated with the straw man? It doesn't make contracts null and void, because that's not really a correction. Right? That's not really a correction. When we say correct your name, that means that you're moving from a European representation to something that's not European. So if you say John Smith and I want to correct my name, so I'm going to say John Smith Bay. Technically, the Europeans still have jurisdiction over yourself, because John Smith is not Moorish. They got the L on there, or the Bay or whatever, but you're still tied to them. They still have some jurisdiction. It might not be as much as they have without the El Bay, Ali, Dare, Al, but they have jurisdiction, right? This is why we tell Moors that when you get into this information and you're doing the name correction, don't correct your name John Smith, just put -bay on it, and then, oh yeah, I corrected my name, and think that that's it. Because in your studies, just by you studying, you're eventually going to get to that point where you say, hold on a second, I can't call myself John Smith Bay. Like, the bulb will go off in your own head once you're studying, right? So we tell more, don't go out and get no cards and all that stuff, say John Smith Bay and all that. Yeah, you can, but eventually you're going to get to that point. We're telling you from what we know. Eventually you're going to get to that point where you're going to say, hold on a second, and then you're going to have to go through that whole process again. So if you're going to do that, start by doing that. Whenever you get, whatever with that name, put your -bay, -L onto the name, right? And get used to using the title. Because the title of nobility is not just, when you say that you're El or whatever, El is a Canaanite god, right? Bays are governors of territories. So it's not something light by adding those, right? It's not something light. You're actually going through a very metaphysical process, extremely metaphysical process. And keep in mind that the so-called straw man is void ab initio. So if it's void, why would you want to put something living on something dead? Right? It doesn't even equate to put something living on something dead. It doesn't assist you. Okay? If adult cows don't drink cow's milk, then you probably shouldn't be drinking cow's milk, because it doesn't even do anything for you. All right? So yes, you can add the name. You can add it. We're not saying that you can't add it, but we're saying that you are going to use that as practice. So when you get your free national name, free meaning not under subjugation, not under the jurisdiction of the European, because it's free, right? National, that you're tied to your nation, right? Free national name, right? Not theirs, yours. Not their name with your title attached to it, but yours completely. That you don't have any ties to them. All right. Judicial notice and proclamations forms are on RV Bay Publications. I was wondering, should I do a name change first, then get my ID, or can I get ID and change the name on it later when I find the proclamation forms? Comes back to the same thing again, that you don't want to just go through this process just because, some people listen to, they might listen to a Taj or something like that. You know what I mean? And he's going in on, how people are going to get vaporized and stuff like that. And people start panicking. Like oh my God, I need to do this right now or whatever like that. You don't want to move in haste, right? Slow your roll, slow down. You know what I mean? Only people stupid enough to go in the line to be vaporized will be vaporized. Only the people who go in the line, because they're gonna line you up first, right? So if they say, free Jordans, and you're running down the street or whatever like that, you're probably gonna be in a line that you don't want to be in. But if you're studying, you're not gonna hear the call about coming to the vaporization line. So you go to rvbaypublications.com, if I'm not mistaken, under Writs of Freedom, and the judicial proclamation papers are there. Make sure you read the instructions. People don't read instructions. That's why they're always calling into the show or sending emails talking about the download didn't work. How come it didn't work? Because if you read the instructions, you'll see that there's a sample one, and then there's the actual document that you download. The sample one you can't download. That's for reading purposes only, so you can see what you're supposed to do before you download, because they follow instructions. And keep in mind where the Writs of Freedom is, and then keep in mind where the nationality card is, that you should go through that website in sequence. Just like you get a book and it says chapter 1 to chapter 20, you're not going to start the book at chapter 15. You're going to start at chapter 1. And you're going to do the chapters in sequence. Same thing with rvbaypublications.com. When you go on that site, you start at the top, first page. Then you scroll down and read everything. And then the first thing that you can click that. And then you read that thing. Then you go back to the top again, and the second thing that you can click, then you click that. And you go in sequence. If you go out of sequence, then you'll be all over the place calling people about where's this, where's that. But everything's right there. If you went in sequence and weren't moving, warp speed, you would have found everything. But we understand, we know what time it is, we know how it is. We know that there's issues with people. We know that this time right now, things are moving rapidly and it could be overwhelming. Don't be overwhelmed, because for you to be in this place where you're finding out about your nationality and your birthrights, for you to be in this place where you're finding out this information is a good thing. It's an excellent thing that you're in this place, regardless whether you're 2 months in or if you're 20 years in. It's very good that you're gravitating on the frequency of the information that Noble Drew Ali brought. And the key to being virtuous is to have patience. The key to being an honorable Moor is to have patience. Don't fly off the handle just because. Wait a little bit. First time, you don't have to fly off the handle. Just humble yourself, pick up your Quran, calm yourself down. That's why Noble Drew Ali brought that book. That's why Noble Drew Ali divinely prepared that book for the Moors, to get us out of our lower self, out of our lower vibrations, into our higher vibrations. And once again, deal with it in sequence. Chapter 1, right? Every time something comes up, chapter 1, read that chapter until that chapter has been completely absorbed by your being through your thoughts, through you reading it over and over and over and over again. Because, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting that people are going to make him sound like he didn't know what he was doing, right? That he didn't know what he was teaching. No, that his teachings are outdated. And that people shouldn't consider him. They should consider, you know, some other stuff. Trust that what Noble Drew Ali presented was for our salvation as Asiatics. It was for our salvation. You can say whatever they want. No, this is what it means to be an honorable. Be an honorable Moors. To be an honorable Moor, you don't care what people's opinion is of Noble Drew Ali and what he brought. To be an honorable Moor, you pick death before dishonoring what Noble Drew Ali brought you. To be an honorable Moor, you are going to risk the utmost of your very life to protect the Moorish Divine and National Movement and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. If you're not willing to put your life on the line to defend this, then you probably need to take off your turban and fez and go back to the state where the Prophet found you. Because this is not for you. This is not for people who are going to say, I'm L, but then yield when it's time to stand up for this. Right? This is not for people who are going to take the position of, you know, like Sister Joanna Bay called me today, talking about the Moors Science Temple in Cincinnati. The Grand Sheik stepped down. So the people in that temple, you know, they took the position of, you know, calling who put them on. Right? Now, the people who put them on are a subordinate temple of Grand Major Temple in Chicago, right? And the people who put them on are telling them, well, since your Grand Sheik stepped down, all you have to do is just get 7 adepts, and there you go. Peace. Yo, just running class right now. No, it's all good. I'll link you back. Yeah. Right? They're telling all you need is seven people that are adepts, and then you can be subordinate temple. That's not how it runs. That's not how it's supposed to go. Right? If the subordinate temple, right? If the subordinate temple has the authority from Grand Major Temple to make other people temples, right? Then they the subordinate temple should be issuing those Moors in Cincinnati who they put on a warrant of authority for them to prep themselves so they can eventually be a subordinate temple as well. Right? They're not supposed to tell them, just do your own thing and turn their back on them because the individual who was the Grand Sheik that they know stepped down. So now since, their friend who the Grand Sheik isn't there no more, they're going to just hang those people out to dry. They're not supposed to run like that. Right? And with regard to us here, we're subordinate, but for Canaanland is a separate jurisdiction as far as, quote unquote, the Moors are concerned. Yes, it's in North America, but it's its own jurisdiction. And as the Moor Science Temple of America here, we do that same process. That if somebody's qualified in Canaanland, we issue them a warrant of authority, and they get their warrant of authority and they exercise as Moorish Science Temple of America. They're not Moorish Science Temple of America yet, but they have a warrant of authority in order to exercise as such and do what it is that they're supposed to do according with the subordinate temple who, gave them the warrant of authority. So recognize and realize that what Noble Drew Ali did in establishing the Moorish Divine and National Movement, it was to get us on many different levels to start taking care of many different issues that we had and that we were going to have. And people took the position of dishonoring Noble Drew Ali and making it appear like, he got assassinated and he didn't finish his time because he was a young man when he died. He didn't finish doing what he was doing and all that. He did everything that he was supposed to do. It's us now to carry on that legacy that he left for us. And that legacy is only going to be carried on by honorable Moors. It's not going to be carried on by opportunist Moors. It's not going to be carried on by dirty Moors. It's not going to be carried on by passive Moors. It's not going to be carried on by Moors who don't study. It's not going to be carried on by Moors who are gravitated on their lower self and they don't do have anything to do with higher stuff. It's not going to be by Moors who diss astrology and diss civics and diss true religion and, pretend like, they're the grand this and the grand that, right? When they don't have any honor in them, right? This is a divine and national movement for a reason. And Noble Drew Ali set it up so that it can't be tore up by anybody. Nobody could come into this and, dismantle this. Nobody. Either you're going to get in line with what was laid down, or you will be destroyed. And it's really that simple. And the destruction is going to be because of yourself. All these Moors who took the position of dishonoring Noble Drew Ali, they're going to talk about, Kudro swore, so he violated something. Don't be listening to those crazy Moors, right? Don't be listening to them, right? Don't be listening to them. Because we just pop flied a lecture in Philly, and you have Moors coming from all over the place to come to the lecture in Philly, which is happening on Saturday, if you didn't hear. Right? Moors coming from all over the place just to lecture in Philly. Why? Because all the honorable Moors are going to be there. All the Moors that's been doing something, not all, but a good bit of the Moors that's been doing something with this information are going to be in Philadelphia, Philadelphus, Sheikh Mexam, this Saturday, on Saturday, right? At the York House. What you say, fam?
Chilling. Good.
I'm chilling. You already know.
Yeah.
We're here.
Bless.
Right?
You want our green tea?
No, I'm good, yo. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the balcony for a minute.
All right. Or just like the.
I didn't want to, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, you're straight, yo. Just like the.
Get some
like
fresh
the thing,
air.
yo.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
Yeah. All right. The honorable ones, right? The honorable ones are the ones that honor Noble Drew Ali because they realize that what he brought is real. Like what he brought is a real thing. It's not some, you know what I mean, illusion that we think is when it's not. Like it's something that is. Just ask Moors. You know what I mean? Don't ask the black guys, because the black guys don't know jack about this. But the Moors, they know about this. And it's imperative that people take the time to research this man, Noble Drew Ali. Don't worry about what Moors say. Go to Europeans. Go get the books by Europeans. Let them tell you about Moors. Right? Go check the Europeans. Let the Europeans tell you about Moors. Because majority of them hold Noble Drew Ali in high regard, right? So here's one that you can go check. The Moor, the Mason, and the Alien by Rick Smith. Right? All you gotta do is just go get the book and read the book for yourself. Yes, European, but we'll back him before some of these black guys' books, because none of these black guys' books mention Noble Drew Ali. They play Noble Drew Ali. They dishonor him. And then you have a European come in and drop in more information, metaphysical too, on Noble Drew Ali than these so-called black scholars who say, oh yeah, we honor Noble Drew Ali. So how come you're not Moors? How come you still calling people black if you honor Noble Drew Ali? If you honor Noble Drew Ali, how come you still talking about United States and all that stuff? How you not talking about a Mexam? If you honor Noble Drew Ali, how come y'all don't got fezzes on? How come y'all got black guy hats on? You honor Noble Drew Ali, how come you talking about you're African? How come you don't say that you're descendants of Africans, like Noble Drew Ali taught? Noble Drew Ali never taught that we're African. He taught that we were descendants of Africans. You know, which is a totally different position than African. Because like we tell people, Africans don't say that they're African. They say that they're Congolese and all that. They don't play those stupid continent ones. But the reality of the situation is that too much passes have been given to a lot of these black guys, these conscious black guys. Too much passes. Everybody's giving the black guys passes. Right? There ain't no such thing as them getting a pass. They should be getting beaten in the head when they violate and call somebody black. Especially when Moors are around. But then Moors are around the conscious black guys and they don't say nothing. They want to get on the couch and be down with, you know what I mean, the black stuff. And not correct these people every single time they say black and African and all this other BS, right? Another email. I had found an article about the Moors and the U.S. bankruptcy. It's documented facts that our prophet had put measures in place to bankrupt the Union States. For all the Negro, black, colored folks out there, wake up. And if you Google search U.S. bankruptcy and the Moors, a PDF is going to come up. The U.S. bankruptcy and the Moors, right? A PDF document is going to come up. That's talking about everything relative to the so-called bankruptcy, right? They thought the PDF goes into the express trust and things like that, things of that nature, right? The constitutional guarantees, right? Just information, you know what I mean? Doesn't, no author on it. There's not somebody is trying to say that this is whatever. It's just information. So Moors can, have something to put on the record for people who claim something, right? People who claim they know something, they're scholars and all that stuff, but you ask them about U.S. bankruptcy, they don't know anything about it. But they're going to talk about their scholars, and they're going to be talking about Kemet and all this type of stuff when you don't know nothing about the jurisdiction that you live in, but you're telling me about some other jurisdiction that you're not in, and I'm supposed to go with the fact that you're a scholar because you're telling me about something from somewhere where you don't even live? The hell out of here, right? I was reading the prophet's prophecy, and Noble Drew Ali had mentioned that one day there will be guards standing out front of your convenience stores. Can you elaborate more on that? Sounds like madness. Rennie Bay. So if we go back, you don't even have to, because remember that, the oral statements, there are certain things, just like these, doctors with no doctorates, they're going to put out videos and talk about, it's Noble Drew Ali's followers that made up oral statements and all that type of stuff, right? There's nobody that can tell me that between 1930 and, we're not even going to say 2015, between 1930 and 1970, that there wasn't a time when there were soldiers on the street with bayonets on their guns telling people, keep moving, especially Asiatics. There's nobody, no Negro, black, colored, conscious guy could tell me that there wasn't a time between 1930 and 1970 where so-called Negro, black, colored people were walking on the street, and on the street in front of the stores that they shop at, there were soldiers with guns with bayonets on them. Right? So prophecy already manifested. And there's no way some follower guy just decided to say, oh yeah, let's just say Noble Drew Ali said that, and then the stuff, then what they said happened, because they're not the prophet. So they don't have prophetic abilities like that. Real simple. And again, if anybody out there could prove it wrong, please prove it wrong. Please show me a time between 1930 and 1970. That's the timeline. Between 1930 and 1970, when there were no soldiers on the street with bayonets on their guns telling Asiatics unconscious Moors, so-called Negro, black, colored people, to keep marching. Don't even stop around here. Matter of fact, they didn't even have to tell Negroes anything. Negroes just marched past them because they knew what they would get if they tried to play all that, race riot BS that they like to play today and get pepper spray. And people were sicking dogs on them. Right? So don't be fooled by these people talking their BS, trying to dishonor Noble Drew Ali's position of being a prophet. Right? Because they do that. And then they do that in order to get people to be on the fence with regard to Noble Drew Ali. Well, did he really say that, or how about you just go read the goddamn newspaper like he told you? Read the newspaper, he's going to tell you the truth. Listen to the radio. Put on the goddamn TV. Watch some movies. They're not even lying to people about Noble Drew Ali's prophecies. They're not lying to people about history of the Moors. They're not lying to people about anything if you do your research. They're not lying to people. They're putting it all out there. They're putting it all out there. Everything they're putting out there. Stuff that people didn't even think. Stuff that people didn't even think they would know about their history. Europeans telling them. And then Moors use Europeans as a reference, and oh no, that's the white man stuff, and the white man said. But then in undertone, they're gonna use European references. But I thought that's the devil. Like, how come you're using this reference and then he's the devil? How come you get pepper spray and then you're using white milk on your face? Why use chocolate milk? The white stuff is the devil. How come you're using the white milk on your face? How come you don't wash your eyes out with chocolate milk? Since you're a black man and all that stuff. Why are you using white milk? Isn't that contradictory? But, they don't want to hear Moors. They want to do their own thing. They want to play by their own rules in their uncivilized position. All right. They do their thing. All right. Once again, Brother Rennie Bay, I wanted you to clarify for the new Moors coming into this information as to why it's important to be a part of a regency/consulate embassy, even though you don't necessarily need to be in the Moorish Science Temple of America to be a Moor, as it is our ancestral lineage without a doubt. So the idea of being part of Moorish Science Temple of America is for you to get guided instruction with regard to this ancestral lineage called Moorish American, which is tied to Moroccans, which is tied to Moabites, which is tied to ancient Canaanites and everybody else. Right? What Noble Drew Ali did in setting up the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Old Canaanite Temple, Moorish Divine and National Movement, was so that we have our own jurisdiction to get this information from our sources, from our leaders, not from some other people who say that they got something for us, or their status isn't ours, but they got some info on our stuff and all that. No, people who are of our status to teach us. Just like if you're Chinese, you go to Chinese school, right? That's just what it is. If you're Moorish American, you should be going to Moorish American school, just like everybody else. And then after you do that, then you can go to these other schools and learn whatever it is that you want to learn, because you have a foundation. Now, in these days and times, the Moorish Science Temple of America acts as a regency. In these days and times, let's just check that quick fast. Right? In these days and times, it acts as a regency. Right? Because we are under occupation by foreign powers. And the foreign powers are taking the position of the foreign powers are taking your position that you don't want, because you want to be Negro, Black, African, whatever like that, thinking that's something legitimate. But in this day and time, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a regency for people who have proclaimed their nationality as Moors, proclaimed their nationality as Moorish American, proclaimed their nationality as the Aboriginal indigenous people of the Americas, and are rule, government, kingship. The man or body of men entrusted with the vicarious government of a kingdom during the minority absence, insanity, or other disability of the king. Right? The man or body of men entrusted with the vicarious government of a kingdom. This is what a regency is. During the minority, Negro, Black, colored people, absence, insanity, mental slavery, which we have right now, that, like we said, people running down the street to go line up for 5 hours to get Jordans and stuff like that, right? Insanity. Letting some European inject their children with some vaccine or whatever like that at 4 months old. They're giving them vaccine. 4 months. You know what's inside those stuff? That's insanity, right? Or other disability of a king. Don't they say that they're niggas, and niggas come from negus, and negus means king? Right? So they need the regency, because Moorish Science Temple is for them. The insane, absent-minded, disabled kings who aren't themselves right now. So a body of men is entrusted with the government of kingdom for those crazy people. And that's why Drew Ali said, when I open the floodgates, you're going to need 16 secretaries to write down all the names of these absent-minded, insane, disabled kings that are going to be running back home, which is going on right now. Right now, it's going on right now. People running back to this information that they left because they realized that they messed up. And then some of them know that they messed up, but they got their little handout or whatever like that to keep their people in their disabled, insane, absent-minded position. But they're gonna call themselves kings, and they have crowns. Every king needs a crown, so go to this guy to buy a hat, put your name on a hat and stuff like that. Right? Playing people. Because you're not no king if you're not in a regency. You can't claim kingship if you're not part of a regency. You can't just say, we're the Negus. No, like Selassie, I could say that because he's actual king. So he can make that claim. Cambodians or whatever, they can make that claim because they got Angkor Wat sitting there, right, that they honor. And they go and they say their prayers to, whatever like that. They got a nationality. They know who their ancient foremothers and forefathers are, right? Now, the power of the individuals in the regency, so-called Grand Chief, Grand Governor, Grand Secretary, Grand Treasurer, Grand whatever that they call themselves, Supreme Grand whatever, right? They are all regents of this regency, right? Now the regent is a governor or ruler, one who vicariously administers the government of a kingdom in the name of the king during the latter's minority or disability. A master, governor, director, or superintendent of a public institution, particularly a college or university. Isn't Moorish Science Temple of America a school? Doesn't Moorish Science Temple of America teach everything? Which is, same thing that a university is supposed to do. So all these individuals that claim to be heads are regents. But their job is to vicariously administer the government on behalf of the king, the Negus, who is insane, disabled, call themselves black when they're brown, call themselves colored when they're not painted, varnished, or dyed, call themselves Negro when that's a monkey. All right? So the Moorish Science Temple of America has a purpose, and its purpose is to get the people who are the kings that have fallen out of their kinship back into their seat of power by giving them the right information in the right dose, right? That's why the lessons, like if we use Dr. York for example, Dr. York called his holy book tablets, because tablets are medicine. And the tablets, the holy tablets, not pharmaceutical tablets, the holy tablets. And then you get your holy tablets, and then they bring you back into that place where you're supposed to be. But then keep in mind that the same guy, Dr. York guy, right? Remember, same guy wrote this book, who is Noble Drew Ali, and this Noble Drew Ali said that the Moors fell out of power and all that stuff. Said Noble Drew Ali's copying Masons because he did like this, he's hiding something in his bosom and all that type of stuff. Lied on the Prophet. And then you want to know how come he got arrested and got 500 million years and get thrown under the prison and stuff like that? Because you can't dishonor Noble Drew Ali and get away with it. You can't. You can try, but don't think that you're getting too far dissing the Prophet and getting away with that BS. Right? If Farrakhan have, prostate cancer, all that stuff, you think that just happened because of some sickness? No, this is Noble Drew Ali, but these guys playing games. Right? You think Muhammad Ali got Parkinson's because boxing and stupid stuff like that? No, called himself Ali. Where NOI knows that you're not supposed to name your children Ali. NOI knows that Cassius Clay was a child of the NOI. And they named that child Ali. And now he's suffering because of them. Dishonoring Noble Drew Ali. Naming him Ali. But then, if they named him El or Bey, that would have gave up the game. Right? If they said Muhammad Ali Bey, Muhammad El, Muhammad Bey, that would have gave up that they knew what was up. Now they couldn't do that because they had to play their little game. That's why Eric Phelps, author of Vatican Assassins, said that the Ku Klux Klan and the Nation of Islam have the same paymaster. Right? Why do you say that? Right? Why did he drop that on them? Right? Why did he drop that on them? The Ku Klux Klan and the Nation of Islam have the same paymaster. Right? He dropped that on them because the Ku Klux Klan, are Muslim sons. That's why they have their Quran.
That's what they're calling their
Quran.
joint? That's the name of their
Quran,
joint? That's
yeah.
their joint?
Yeah,
Really, eh?
yeah. This is their holy tablets. The Ku Klux Klan holy tablets is called Quran. How come? Because they're Muslim sons. That's why they dress up like Moors. In the pointy stuff that you see these people celebrating in Spain. You see the Orthodox, whoever, wearing the pointy stuff still. Quran. Right? So the Masons rule them. Grand wizards and stuff like that. That's Masonic titles. That's not some KKK whatever. Hey, knights. Knights of the Ku Klux Klan? What knights he talking about? They have their Quran. Right? What do these guys have? They had their Mark Fezzes. What's the Mark Fez mean? Masonry. Mark Fez means masonry. Anybody you see on their Fez's mark, that's masonry. There's some type of level of mason. That's why Eric Phelps could say that the Nation of Islam and the Ku Klux Klan have the same paymaster. Their paymaster is Freemasonry. European Freemasonry, mind you. Not even Asiatic. European Freemasonry. Right? And then look, you can see the tack down tassel. Okay. The direction that his head is facing, that tassel should be behind him. Right? Where the symbol on the fez is facing is where the tassel should be. If it's free flowing. Right? Okay? And again, back to this guy, that people, right? Back to this guy, R&B lipstick wearing perm guy, that all of a sudden, he took off the lipstick, right? Cut the perm off, and then now he's some freaking Al-Mahdi of something when he's a lipstick wearing guy doing his eyebrows and stuff like that. You know those eyebrows are done. You know the eyebrows are done. You know that's eyeliner. He has eyeliner on and stuff like that. And you're going to follow this guy. Right? This is the guy you're going to follow. And dishonor Noble Drew Ali. And want to know how come you have problems in your life. Following these sellouts. Lipstick wearing guys. R&B singing I love you. Like Peter Tosh said, I don't want a blood clot, I love you.
Maybe I
Why you sing some songs to the Most High? You sing songs to girlfriend, I love you. Right? And then that's why everybody diss Tosh. Diss Tosh, right? Big up Bob Marley, diss Tosh. But Tosh was the man. Tosh was the man. He was the one.
Tosh was too much.
Right? Tosh was too much for them. Okay? And then when he went to trial, he put on the red fez, like the Moors. Not the black crap with the ankh that you see Nuwapians wearing today, talking about it has Nuwapian headwear and stupid stuff like that. He wore the red fez of the Moors when he went to court. Right? Malachi Zadok L. Right? Even got the Rosicrucian, red handkerchief sticking out the pocket, and still didn't freaking get off. Right? Even got the Rosicrucian red stuff in the pocket, trying to send signals to them, and they're like, nope, sorry, you already dissed the prophet. We can't help you. Right? Lawyers got away with millions. Millions. What Noble Drew Ali tell them? You know what I mean? If you guys think that you're gonna be able to have all this fiat or whatever and it not get back to me, you're playing yourself. Playing yourself. Right? And they're playing themselves. Right? Everybody dissing the prophet, and then want to know how come. How come? How come? I mean, how come? How come stuff going on to you? Because you're dishonoring the noble Drew Ali. You know who he is? You're gonna diss him. You're really gonna diss him. Really? Like, you're really gonna diss Noble Drew Ali? And you really think you're gonna get away with it? Ask Dr. York. Just email canaanlandguide@gmail.com if you want a copy of this so you can read the BS for yourself that he put on himself. Right? That he put on himself. Not that somebody did to him. You know, Europeans or whatever do nothing to him. This the prophet, you're gonna get yours. Right? Take it from Dr. York. Take it from Muhammad Ali. Right? Ali Muhammad called himself two prophet names. Muhammad and Ali. Want to know how come he's a has-been? How come he can't even spell 20 and stuff like that on his fake degree that he got from Temple University? Can't even spell 20. But you got books for sale and all that stuff. Right? This the prophet. And anybody getting down with the prophet dissers, you got something coming. You could buy all the land you want, plant all the stuff you want, bet you your stuff doesn't yield. Just because you're backing these bastards who dishonor the legacy of Noble Drew Ali. This man died for people to have their nationality and birthrights today, 2016, and they don't want it. They're gonna follow some black guy, right? There's a place named Swiss Chalet out here. I know Swiss Chalet. And Swiss Chalet, oh yeah, by the way, a European put me onto this. Not some Asiatic, not some conscious black guy, European. Right? European put me onto this. European said, hey, Kudro, you check this out or whatever. Not the conscious people. Right? European. Book 2 of 3. Matt Kings. Magic in a Minute. Amaze your family and friends. I love diamonds. Here's one of the world's card tricks, blah, 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 blah. How it works. Here's why this is the world's easiest card trick. Look at the image to the left. The ace of hearts is positioned to look like the ace of diamonds. Meanwhile, the real ace of diamonds has already been stashed away in your shirt pocket. This is a trick that should only be done once because your audience will be looking closer at the cards, blah, blah, blah. Book 2 of 3, Matt Kings. Monkey tested, monkey approved. There's the monkey right there. What is it? What's that monkey wearing on his head right there? Let's go over here. What's a monkey doing card tricks? What's that stuff this monkey's wearing? Doesn't that look like something that you see certain people wear only? It's a monkey though. Didn't I say that certain people are monkeys and stuff like that? Certain people call themselves nigger, you know? right? I love diamonds, right? Card trick. The monkey trap. Here's a riddle for you, aspiring comedians. What is the best way to catch a monkey? Climb a tree and act like a banana. Right? Then they got the monkeys there with the vest on, right? With the fez. Okay. This is in, just Google Swiss Chalet and see how big they are out here. If you don't know Swiss Chalet, I'm sure you know Swiss Chalet. Should be Swiss Chalet everywhere. And this is their little booklet that they hand out for free. The little children's booklet. In Swiss Chalet, the restaurant. Monkey wearing a fez and stuff like that. Coloring. Louis T. Monkey. Folds of futility. Hand a piece of paper to a friend and ask them to fold it in half. Then fold it in half again. Then bet them they can't continue folding it 5 more times. It is impossible. And they got a little picture right there, right? With the monkey, acting like a monkey, with his fez on, and then you get to color it in. Louis T. Monkey. And then there's the folds of futility. And you got the monkey in the bottom again, acting like a monkey, trying to fold the paper 7 times, right? Because you fold it 2 times and then you tell them fold it 5 times. 7 times. Why you got a monkey with a fez on talking about folding paper 7 times? And what Drew Ali say? Trying to bring you back in a constitutional fold? They're just putting stuff out there for people and people don't want to get it. They say some monkey stuff. There's a Swiss Chalet coloring book. Yeah, we're just gonna color this monkey and eat our quarter chicken dinner. Where's the dipping sauce when they're telling these people about their stuff that they don't want? And they're complaining, marching, picketing all over the place. Monkey has their stuff but they don't want it. Right? And they're gonna make their children color it up, put it on the wall and all that stuff. And still don't know what the hell's up. Playing around. Right? Playing around. I don't know where this one came from, but it was just interesting, You know that it's not from over this side. You know this is not from over this side. You know this is from over that side, across the Atlantic, right? Place where the so-called black African guys say that they come from, but they got their little wood carving of their African tribal whatever with a fez on. But they're not Moors though, over there. There's some African whatever. African booty scratchers over there. Right? They're not Moors. They're the booty scratching Moors. With the fez on, everything. Want to pretend like they don't know who the Moors are. Playing stupid. And then people following them stupid people. Playing stupid. Right? You gotta put these ones out there. Right? Street's Disciple, the double album. You know what I mean? And who's in the throne wearing the maroon tarbush, right? While all the niggers are around him or whatever. All the nigger nazis around him. Right? But then the godson is on the throne with the fez on. Not dressed like nigger, dressed like royalty. Dressed in his traditional garb and all that stuff. That's who gets the throne. That's who gets the head seat at the table. And the t-shirt around the head guy with the vest, he gets a side part. The guy with the baseball hat, crap, with the Chris style, he gets a job being a slave nigger, pouring people's stuff, right? The guy over here, with the cross and all that stuff. You see, he's not even wearing the cross in the freaking stuff, right? The cross guy, you know, the player Mac guy with his shirt buttoned down and all that stuff. You know, the crystal, right? Been telling people, you don't want to hear anything. You want to play games, right? You know, I put this one out there. King Son been told you, right? The 80s or whatever. King Son told y'all. Back at album, everybody got the album. What's this guy wearing? What are they wearing? What are they wearing? Who cares what they're wearing? Just play the CD, play the tape, whatever. Who cares? You know, everybody knows King Son. You know he was Asiatic. You know he was on consciousness or whatever. He wasn't a dumb nigger. Right? Hip hop is Moorish too. Been telling people, but they don't want it. You know, listen to doctors with no doctorate. Right? Right? ABC even came out. ABC even came out when 50 went to Africa or whatever like that. Right? Over there. Not on this side. Over there. You know, where the so-called African booty scratchers come from that came over here on a slave ship. But 50 Cent go over there and then they got picture with him next to the guy where the slaves in America say they come from with the fez on. And he doesn't look like he got that from some Turks or some pale Arabs gave him that. He's wearing that like he knows what's up. That's why he's wearing it. But they're not Moors though. And fezzes have nothing to do with over there across the Atlantic. You know, that's just some fiction that Moors made up to follow pale Arabs and Turks. Right? And I bet you, and this guy's darker than some of these people over here that call themselves black, and I bet you if you ask him what his nationality is, he's not going to say, oh, the black cosmic connection of the cosmic BS that these guys are talking about. Right? But it's okay, you know what I mean? Some people get played. You know what I mean? Some people just get played. That's just what it is. You know? Some people get played. Where'd that go? Some people are just game with getting played. You know, we can't do nothing for them. They're just going to have to learn the hard way. Because, you know, Drew Ali said it. You know what I mean? They're going to learn at the point of a sword. Don't worry about them. Don't worry. Let them do their thing. They'll learn the hard way. They'll learn at the point of a sword. Let me just sing good. Just so I'm not wasting time, the whole point that there's a book in this talking about the navigators of the 7 seas and all that stuff, and you know, the people who were the ones with the boats and all that, you know, and the ones who had the boats were the ones who had the power, because if you have a boat in ancient times, that means you can go anywhere. And these people who had these boats were known as Moors. They were known as the seafaring people. And then I wanted to read that just to show you that even, right, we already put this out there, but this is for all the new people who might not have been studying enough to really get what's going on. No mooring, no docking of boats. Right? Why is docking a boat called mooring? Why isn't it called, you know, black Egyptianing. The Egyptians had boats. How come the term, Phoenicians had boats, Canaanites had boats. How come the term for docking a boat is called mooring, not anybody else who had boats? There's other Asiatics that had boats. Why did they pick the Moors as the ones to name docking a boat after? When people before, as they say, Moors aren't ancient people. Okay, so people before Moors had boats. Why didn't they call it them? Because it's all the same people.
Those people.
No different people. The dark-skinned people who had the boats since the beginning of time are known as Moors today. But you can let these people fool you and play games with your birthrights and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
They even tell you Columbus got a navigator because he didn't know where to go.
Right? Crazy. But it's okay. We honor Noble Drew Ali. We honor what he brought. So we don't really care what anybody has to say. We don't care how they feel about what we say. You know what I mean? We don't even really care if they proclaim their nationality, really and truly, because, this ain't for everybody. Everybody's not gonna gravitate to this because so many of our people are lost. So many of our people think that knowing thyself is entertainment. So many people think knowing who you are, right? Knowing who you are is entertainment. They don't know that when we say that we're Moors, we're tying ourselves to the ancient foremothers and forefathers that ruled the entire globe. Right? The entire globe. Not just continent of whatever. Everywhere was dark-skinned people that today we call Moors. Today we call the dark-skinned people of ancient times Moors. All of them. No matter what they were called back then, doesn't matter, because you can't take those back then names and apply them to today. Because people are going to laugh at you if you talk about you're a Phoenician. Go tell somebody that you're a Phoenician and go tell somebody that you're a Moor and see which one they gravitate to. Go tell somebody that you're ancient Egyptian and go tell someone that you're Moor and see which one they go with. Go tell somebody that you're the black cosmic connection of the ancient melanin beings of Orion and stuff like that, and go tell them that they're Moors and see which one they relate to. You know what I mean? And don't get mad when they don't relate to that BS that you made up talking about that's who you are. Right? Once again, all these ones we put out there already. Right? European waving his Corsica flag with a quote unquote black man on it, that's known as a Moor. Now that's a black man right there. If anybody's a black man, that's a black man. But guess what that black man's nationality is? Moor. He's not no black man. Because the real black man is this guy. That's the real black man. Because black is pale. And we are not pale people. So this is black. Black according to science means death. What science? Hey, how about the science of the sun? That if these guys stand out in the sun, I bet you they die. Because they're black. So black according to science means death. There you go. And then these guys, the sun-kissed people that are Moors, they won't die in the sun. And the only way they'll die in dishonor is if they don't know their self and they're Negroes or whatever like that. You know, and they have no protection. Then they'll get theirs. Get sunstroke and stuff like that. Talking about what's the thing called when they make the mall, when they put on the AC in the mall and then people could go to the mall and cool the cooling center. But they want to go to the cooling center because it's hot outside. Let's go to the cooling center, get some AC inside the mall. The hell are you talking about? You have melanin. What are you talking about? Go to the mall, get AC and stuff like that. What are you talking about? Put on the AC in the house and stuff. What AC are you talking about? How about open a window? No, but then that just lets more heat in. Clearly you have mental problems if you don't like heat. If you're running from heat. Clearly you have mental problems. Right? Clearly. Serious mental problems if you're running from the sun. Right? There's some more people over there across the Atlantic, right? King and queen or whatever. You got the Talas, right? You got the double fez going on.
Super fez.
Right? Super fez. And then there's this brother back here. You know what I mean? He's got the nature, no smile. You know, nothing's funny around here. Right? No smiling. Right? And there's the one man right there with his little tarbouche got in. But look at the Talas fez. You know? He got that from some Turks. He's happy the Turks gave him that? Really? You really gonna listen to these stupid black guys who don't have nationalities? You're really gonna listen to these stupid black guys who I tell you, they have a Moor's head on their crest of their European last name that they have. These are conscious black guys. Conscious black guy with European last name. You pull up the European last name and the black guy who's dissing Moors has a blackamoor head on the family crest of the last name that he has, but he's going to tell you he's not Moors and he's going to debate Moors. You guys listen to these jackasses giving these people your time and attention when they're Moors in denial, dishonoring Noble Drew Ali, talking about they love him, they have respect for him, but they're calling themselves black. These guys don't honor no Noble Drew Ali. That's why if you notice, the more that the so-called doctor with no doctorate disses Moors, do you notice that his stutter's getting worse? Do you notice that he doesn't talk fluid anymore like how he used to talk? Just go back and check some of the older stuff and then now check the stuff. Do you know that he's deteriorating mentally for dissing Moors, dissing Noble Drew Ali? Go check. You realize he's always wearing his glasses now and they got thicker? You see his eyes are bigger in the glasses now? You don't notice his eyes are bigger? That means he had to up his prescription because his eyesight's getting worse. Why? Because you can't mess with Noble Drew Ali and think you're going to get away with it. These guys really think that they're playing around. They really think that they're getting away with something by dissing Noble Drew Ali, who said, I want to do this from the soul plane. I don't need earth plane to deal with this. I'm going to go to the soul plane and deal with you people. Just go check the recent one when these guys are talking about Moors. And tell me if the doctor with no doctorate's speech impediment isn't getting worse. And he's still dissing Moors? You don't realize that you're hexing yourself, buddy? You don't realize you're hexing yourself. Do your thing. But don't think, Sa Cheddar is going to tell you. Vince McMahon's not going to tell you that you're hexing yourself. Stop dissing Moors. Right? because he already did his mudras, put fez on in secret and stuff like that. There's Islam and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Put up his little shield, had the Moroccan flag hanging in the house for like 2 years or whatever like that. All of a sudden, you know what I mean? Take down the flag now. Why? Because he's protecting himself. Because he sat down with master teachers. And from the master teachers, they put him onto some science of Moors. But they knew that it was just, you know, dog and pony show. They knew that it was no real thing. You know, they would just go on there, you know, try to get the information to the people because that guy has long reach. But let them keep dishonoring the prophet. The last prophet. Remember, there's no more coming after Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali is it. And he came in 1913. So 100 years later, you think so? Either you're getting down what Noble Drew Ali got down, or trust me, you're going to get yours. Trust me. That's why we go so hard with Noble Drew Ali. We don't give a care what nobody says. We don't give a care what anybody says trying to diss Moors. Like we put in the song, you could bring out some stuff, show me that Noble Drew Ali's faggot. Still not dissing him. I'm still be down with him 105,000,000%. Because it's about the teachings. It's not about the man. The man ain't nobody. Forget the man. The man ain't nothing. The man is a thought of Allah. So really it's all about Allah. You worry about some man. Oh, he's dressed like a Swami. He's clearly on your lower self. Clothes don't make the man. He even told you that. You're judging him by clothes. Right? Even beer knows that it's a Moor. Even black beer. Clearly that's black beer. Right? Black beer knows that it's a Moor. But these people don't want to be what they are. They want to be something else. Playing games. It's okay. You know what I mean? Right? I showed y'all. Lil Wayne joined Zulu, and then what's he on? Right? Lil Wayne joined Zulu, and then what's he on? Ain't nobody doing that other than Moors. Ain't nobody doing that unless they studied Noble Drew Ali. Like this, Cash Money. Guy who kissed a guy and all that stuff. Repping Noble Drew Ali. Right, repping Noble Drew Ali. Guy who had dyed locks and all that stuff. But, you know, nobody's not going to get down with this. This is some, you know, Lil Wayne, he kissed the guy, so, you know, I'm not going to be down with that because he doesn't know what he's, whatever. Whatever. Right? And for all the sisters, you know, just so you know, you can wear a fez. Don't listen to these dirty Moors telling you about you can't wear a fez. Fezzes are only for brothers only and all that stuff. No, sisters wore fezzes too. Right? Sisters wore fezzes too. Don't get it twisted. You know, fez is no man thing. Sisters wore fezzes. And any man telling you about you can't wear a fez when this is birthrights, know that he's a patriarchal pimp trying to play you out of your stuff. Know that. Any one of these Moors out here, I don't care what type of title that they got, if they start talking about you can't wear a fez, sister, you're supposed to wear a turban only, know that that guy's mom should have swallowed him. No. That guy shouldn't be on the earth plane. Right? Even the Moros told you. Right? Even the Moros came and told you. The Filipinos came and told you. The Aita people, A-E-T-A, Aita, got their fez on. People playing games with your birthright. Want you to dishonor the prophet. So you can get hex. And then in the background, they're free because, the hex that they were supposed to get, you jumped in the way and took their hex for them. Got baby mother problems and stuff like that. How come? Why is this happening or whatever like that? Because you probably listen to some dumb nigger. Got financial problems, IRS coming down on you or whatever like that. Somebody coming about 10 years later, stuff that you did or whatever, trying to come at you and shit like that. Probably listen to some dumbass divert your attention from the prophet. And then instead of you getting down with the prophet, you're playing like you don't have to. You better. You know what's good for you? You better straighten that ass up. Because these people are not playing. Right? I obtained your email from a brother on Facebook named Brian Bay. I reside in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm finally en route of seeking knowledge and insight of our history. Brian advised me to speak with you for proper direction on studying our history, since I'm new and there are falsehoods out there that can be very misleading. So my question to you is, what books, videos, extracts, etc. should I start out with to build my foundation of understanding? Alright, so what books you should get? Well, you can go to rvbaypublications.com, right, and order everything from that website there. You order everything. Every book on there, order them all. It ain't nothing crazy, because, they're all this big and smaller, right? This ain't nothing, right? Matter of fact, Amor messaged me 2-3 days ago that he bought everything on there, and it came up to about $140 or something like that, right? Bill 40, you can get everything on there. I know you got Bill 40. That's half of Jordan's. That's half of Jordan's, right? You know what I mean? I'm sure you can do the 140. Get everything on there. You can't do the 140. Get half this month. Get the other half next month. You break it up in quarters. You know what I mean? Get $30 this month, $30 next month, $30 a month after that, $30 a month, and then you have everything, right? Then go to khalifamedia.com and get all the books on there. Everybody's stuff. Right? khalifamedia.com. You're going to go to I Am HH Temple on YouTube. I Am HH, one word, Temple, second word. On YouTube, watch all those videos relative to Noble Drew Ali and Moors. Anything that says Noble Drew Ali and Moors, watch those. You're going to go to you're gonna YouTube search Hakim Bey, HAKIMBEY, Moorish Paradigm. Watch some of them videos. You're gonna go on YouTube and look up C. Freeman L. Letter C, Freeman L. Watch some of his stuff. Now, disclaimer. Wherever you ask the question, where do I go to get books, videos, etc.? We tell you where to go. So don't be going other places and then coming and saying, I don't understand. If you go where we told you to go, you would understand. Don't be, oh, I saw these Moors, and then they were in court, and then the judge got up and ran out, and I want to do that, and we didn't send you there. Why are you going there? Never sent you to go watch that. What are you telling me about Moors in court and stuff like that? We never sent you there. Yeah, but I have court coming up next week, and that don't even go there. Go to court as a nigger. Take whatever it is that you're supposed to get, right? Whatever you got yourself into, get yourself out to it. However you got into it, you got to pay the fine. You got to do the time, whatever. Do what you got to do. When you come out, catch yourself back up. Because you put yourself in a worse position going out there talking about stuff that you don't know about. You saw something on YouTube. When half the stuff, 3/4 of the stuff, as far as somebody being in court or somebody being in front of a quote-unquote policeman and whatever like that, is some dirty Moors trying to infuse things into your mind to get you caught up in stuff that you don't need to be caught up in, right? So Hakim Bey, Hakimbey, Moorish Paradigm, look at his stuff. Anything by him, look at that. C. Freeman L, anything by him, look at that. I am HH Temple on YouTube, anything on that channel, go look at that, right? rvbaypublications.com, go on that website, buy every book on there, right? Don't be shy. But it's 140. Well, you got Hirachis on, bro. Hirachis are 160. Like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? You got, if you add up all the shoes that you got, that's like $30,000 in shoes. You never complain when you bought one of those. So don't complain now about some books. Just buy the books. Getting them for nothing. You're giving fiat dollars for knowledge that'll last you forever, that you could pass down to your children. They could pass down to their children. They could pass down to their children. That's an investment. Those shoes ain't gonna last but so long. You know what I mean? And khalifamedia.com. And go get all the books on there. And that'll square you up. Right? You build a good foundation with that. Right? You definitely build a good foundation with that. Right? Testimonial. Since I've become enlightened about my nationality and of who I am, I've been experiencing out of the norm events. Just recently, on the 4th of March 2016, the regional manager stopped by the corporation I work for to quote-unquote walk the floor. That very day, I decided to lay low on dropping knowledge because I'm usually informing others, melanated beings, about who we are. Well, that did not go as planned because the regional manager, Hispanic fellow, was informing one of the individuals, Irish Caucasian, I converse with about my so-called preaching and decided it was best the regional manager and I discussed the topic on the Moors since the manager knew about us. As I was called over, the regional manager was like, "You know about the Moors?" I said, "Yes, I do." He replied, "The ones from the Ottoman Empire, right?" I was like, "Yeah, but the Moors extend further than that, like the Moroccan Empire, which is located in northwest Amexem, and they are Moors as well." He was like, "Wow, really? You were born there?" I replied, "Yeah, you're standing on it." He stood in silence for a bit and asked what I meant. "Well," I said, "what you call North America is actually called Northwest Amexem." This guy said, "What?" so loud, I just stood there laughing inside because he thought I was talking about Morocco in Africa. Then he continued to say, so you're a history buff." I said, "No, I'm a Moor," and laughed. "A Moor?" he replied. "But aren't you African American?" I said, "Sir, I am not African American. Can you please tell me where those people come from and what language they speak?" He stood quiet again, with a confused face, which I felt was an act. So I said, "Listen, I'm a Moor. I'm not a Negro, colored, or black person." So I decided to take out my Oxford dictionary and had him read the word black to me. Then I told him Now look at these 3 tiny letters, adjective, and tell me what it stands for. He replied, adjective. I said, okay. Then I took him to the word more, and I asked him to tell me what the word next to it. He replied, noun. So I said, please tell me, am I a noun or an adjective? Well, when I said that, he lit up with such surprise that he was in presence of something ancient but real at the same time. He recognized me before. He recognized me because before I was just that guy or this guy. Now I'm, quote unquote, he's the real deal. So I would like to put it on the record that Kosi Trael is telling y'all they know who we are for the millionth time, stated by many Moors. To all those who keep questioning it, remove the block you have and embrace your true divine nature. You are a Moor, more than you think. That's a slap for some of y'all. I wanted to know if one should study UCCs. I heard they are the Constitution broken up into codes. Wow, that's how far they're going now with this? This is true. Is this true? And if so, wouldn't studying these codes be the same thing as studying the Constitution itself? Well, let's just put that out there. The UCCs are not the Constitution broken up into codes. Just put that out there. That's definitely not what the UCCs are. The UCCs are Uniform Commercial Codes. Yes, the Moors are the founders of commerce, but we're not the founders of Uniform Commercial Codes. Right? And yes, nobody ever said that UCCs are the devil, evil, nothing like that. The point that Moors make with regard to UCCs is that if you are filing a UCC1 financial statement, that means you are paying for that. If you are paying for it, then you're not sovereign. The guy who you're paying is sovereign. So don't do UCCs because you give up your sovereignty as a free Moor. Now, with knowledge, you know what I mean? You could learn how to live within contracts, and then you could do UCCs, and you're not going to have no issues because, you know how to live within contracts. But majority of people don't have the capacity to learn how to live within contracts, so they go into contracts thinking that they know what they're doing and get themselves in a deeper bunch of BS than they were if they wouldn't even touch the thing in the first place. So leave the UCCs alone. So I'm aware of UCC 1-308 code. As far as applying to this code, can one go far back to correct any form he or she has signed before? Like Juali said, leave all old business as it is and do all new business in your free national name. Same thing with all those before contracts and stuff. Yes, again, Moors who know how to live within contracts, they know how to file their stuff on the public record, take the documentation that they filed and go back and change those things that need to be changed. Moors who are going to say, well, since those things back then are void ab initio, there's no need to change them. They're democracy instruments. And since they're democracy instruments, and I have a nationality card, then I'll just use my nationality card as all those instruments that, I want to go back and change. So you can either go back and change them. That's up to you. It's individual. Kujo's not saying go do that or whatever. That's up to the individual. Or you could do like what Noble Juali said, leave all old business as it is and move forward using your free national name. Brother Kujo, I would like to know if you could expound a little more on the difference between the Magi and a judge. Well, a Magi is a high priest, right? The high priest, when you look at, for example, the so-called Christ story, then the 3 wise men, right? And then the 3 wise men were Magi. They were high priests, right? High priests. Low priest is called a magistrate, which is still a magi. But he's a low priest. He's a low-level priest. He's a priest that sits behind the bench, which is really the bank, which is really where the boats dock. And then there's chattel property, that is the being with a birth certificate goes in front of the bank, right, with the magistrate, and they got a little own admiralty maritime ritual going on. Magi. So you have high priests, which are magi, which are, in hieroglyphic dictionary, E. Wallace Budge, the high priests or the magi of Anu were called Moors. M-A-U-R. Moor is a high priest. Anu high priest. A-N-U, Anu. That's one of the ancient Egyptian deities or whatever like that. His high priests were known as Moors in hieroglyphics, in Kemet, ancient Egypt. Same ancient Egypt that these people who you call black scholars, Egyptologists, aren't going to tell you that there was Moors in Kemet, in ancient Egypt. All right. Same stuff. Okay? A judge is one that administers over, court hearings, makes decisions, whatever like that, right? But, remember the scriptures say, thou shalt not judge. Right? Why shall thou not judge? Because somebody can't take the position of passing judgment on somebody else. That's why if you have a case where there's a judge and a jury, the jury is the one who the judge says, jury, make your whatever like that, and then the judge reads the verdict of what the jury puts on the record, because really you're supposed to be judged by your peers, not by some individual. Right? Might seem like a lot, but if you go over this again, and just go over it again, it'll make sense next time you go over it. So don't get caught up with the roles that people play in buildings, and you know what I mean? You hear stuff get thrown out there in lectures or whatever like that. Know that everything can't be taught most of the time in a lecture or a meeting or class or whatever. Like everything can't get taught in 2 hours. Like there's still stuff that we didn't even go through yet, and 2 hours is up. You know what I mean? There's stuff that we didn't even get to read yet because 2 hours is up. So everything's not going to get in class. That's why it's imperative that more study. All right? So, because we already know, oh yeah. And one more thing before we go. Brother Obashango L put this one out today. Let's put this one out and then we'll close out. I hear so many people talking about black power, belief in this god, goddess, nationality coming up under this empire and that empire, and a host of other things. But it is one thing I have never heard them talk about, and that is about modern day shamans, priests, seers, hoodoo root workers, mama loas, papa loas, gris gris, crafters, juju workers, medicine men and women, and a host of other titles we wear. The very ones who wield the cosmic and ancestral forces that you people unwillingly depend upon. You scoff at us because your mundane eyes tell your mundane minds that they do not understand, and to cast it aside as superstition and pagan activity. But all scoffing ceases to halt when you need us. We are children of the blood and fire, and you are not affiliated if you have to ask what this phrase means. Can mundane-eyed people talk to dead relatives of others and know the deepest hidden secrets that the living want to keep hidden even from themselves? Can they manipulate the weather at the drop of a dime? Can they dreamwalk into the dwellings of others and tell where everything is located? Can they consciously dreamwalk into others' dreams where the others are mostly vulnerable to the whim of the dreamwalker? Can they heal any illness through the instruction of the ancestors by putting together a combination of natural medicines that they have never heard of before? Can they use dreams, water, flames, or any other thing to foretell the future with uncanny accuracy? Can they summon the spirits to do their bidding? What about knowledge and power of intuition, clairvoyance, and psychometrics? Can they cast their spirit without the aid of technology and summon those they need to contact, who in turn contacts them through technology? Can they sculpt or draw artistically to bring about a desired effect in the material world on a major scale? Can they create music to open portals for the walkers to come through? Can they throw down vivi sigillium to affect the material world? Can they utter powerful haiku planetary movements? Can they utter powerful haiku to put in work? Do they know the stones or herbs and the days of the week, hours of the day, and the planetary movements to amp it up? I've been called a witch, devil, devil worshipper, pagan, voodoo man, possessed, and some of every other supposedly ungodly name by people throughout my lifetime infected with dogma. But what I found out most is that these very people had and have no idea who one true source, whom they call God, Allah, or any other title actually is. Children of the blood and fire are born with a raw, unnatural, uncut connection to the one true source that can be traced backwards through their lineages of ancestors who held the power. Revisit the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington, and you will get an idea of how the Hollywood European movie makers are telling you that they know how the power moves. That is just an example, but totally different when passed by bloodlines. They know who we are. How come you do not? We are ridiculed, shunned, and feared because of something we had no choice about becoming. That is the equivalent of ostracizing a child because he or she is not born left-handed. So who is really superstitious? Children of the blood and fire are literally embodiment of the cosmic forces of nature. Your modern-day X-Men. No movement whatsoever is complete without us. Just look at the Haitian Revolution, period. The very system you claim to abhor has its own version of us to keep this madness going. So wake up, and until you embrace us and know that we are and have been part of every movement for the liberation of us, then you really ain't about that life. Toriano Obashango El Omo Obata Shango, Lord of Thunder and Lightning. And keep in mind that Noble Juali is part of those children of the blood and fire. You know what I mean? That came with uncanny everything. So Islam to all the Moors, you know, I already know what's good. We're gonna be going in on Blog Talk Radio at 9:30. MHHS Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio. 347-945-5899 is the call-in number. Call in early so you can get a spot because the spots fill up fast. Islam to all the Moors. Keep in mind, this Sunday or Saturday, we're going to be in Philly at the York House. We also are going to be, from what I understand, we're going to be streaming right here from 12:30 to about 4 p.m. or as long as the Ustream lets us go. I think we get 3 hours. All right. This Saturday, March 12th, 2016, 12 to 4 p.m. at 5325 Old York at the York House in Philadelphia. Kudro Adwo El lecture. You are not West Indian, Caribbean, or Black Arawaks. You are Moors. And we'll be streaming live right here Saturday at 12. So make sure, if you're free, you already know how we do, you know what I mean? We don't play the, pay $10 and you know what I mean, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? This is your info, so we gotta give it to you. It ain't our stuff. We're just mediums with a job to do, you know what I mean? To make sure you know about your nationality and birthrights. Honors to all the Moors who are continuing to defend the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Trust me, he appreciates your support because thoughts of Allah don't play. Thoughts of Allah, look out for those that look out for Allah. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, just put him up again just so you're familiar. Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to the so-called Negro, black, colored people of North America to teach them about their nationality and their birthrights. But keep in mind, Noble Drew Ali himself said that he came to us Moors because we needed him the most. But he is a universal prophet. And if you follow the template that Noble Drew Ali laid down, you'll realize that everybody internationally has this information that we've been telling people. And it's just that our people are so brainwashed that they don't want it. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's what they get for following black leaders. So, you know, watch these guys' stutters. You know what I mean? Getting worse and worse. Watch these guys' hair locks stop growing. They're going to be putting weave in their head to have make their locks look long or whatever. But they can't do the natural stuff. You know, weave and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Death before dishonor. Honors to all Moors. Peace and love. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace and love, Moors. We'll connect at 9:30. Islam.